Alright, good morning everybody. Today we're going to make history because usually my workshop is about 50 hours and I only got 15 minutes today. Now, put any constraint you have on any entrepreneurs and it will turn it into an opportunity. My name is Winston and this is my story. I started programming at the age of 7. I was born and raised in a very typical Asian parents where my dad is a very strict father and my mom is the one that plays a good cop. So how many of you here where your dad is a bad cop? Raise your hand. And how many of you here where your mom is the bad cop? Raise your hand. And how many of you where your mom and dad is the bad cop? Raise your hand. I'm so sorry for you. So, but I was very blessed to get access to computer at an early age, and then from there I also became a very mischievous kid as well. Because I remember back then, my brother bought back this set of magic pens when I was age 9, and this was pretty advanced actually, because this magic pen, right? You color all the different colors, and then you use this transparent one, and you go through it. It changes to another different color. How many of you know what I'm talking about here? And what happened to the rest of you? What happened to your childhood? So, what happened was that I took that magic pen, borrowed it from my brother, without bring it to the school and show it off to the kids. And age 9, right, the kids are very easily impressed. When I show it off to them, they say they want it. And I say, great, you can have it for 50 cents per stick per day. And what happened was that I made about 10, 20 ringgit per week when my pocket money was only 50 cents per day. So I thought I was the richest kid in the world. And what happened was that I took that money that I made, go to the canteen and spend on what I love most, which is food. And I went to the canteen and I told Auntie, this kind of food, where can I eat one? Can you cook something better like curry chicken and stuff like that? So she has a very good customer support because she took my feedback and she really cooked the curry chicken and I spent on it. But that was the downfall of my business. Because what happened was that my mom found out about it and I didn't know that she actually investigated every single day what I spent on, who I talked to and stuff like that. So if there's a female version of James Bond, right, she will probably fit the bill. But moving forward as well, eventually what happened was that I discovered the internet at a very early age, sometime around age of 12. But back then there was no internet in Malaysia, so I created a circuit board to trade telecom so I can call to the US to get access for free of charge. Then eventually, of course, internet came to Malaysia around 94, 95, and I never looked back since then. So I started my first official legitimate business after my high school, during university days, which is a web design business. And what happened was this, I even keep that as a secret from my father, so can you imagine what kind of dad I have, alright? I was already making more than him after high school, and after I graduated, the only job I ever had in my life was being a lecturer for 2 years in the university I graduated in. So what happened is this, I took up the job because they allowed me to run my business at the same time, which is my web design business. So I was teaching web design in university, I get a job from the outside, I outsource it to my students. So that was match made in heaven for me. So during that 2 years as well, my colleagues came and told me, he said, Vince, if you want to be a good lecturer, you got to take up masters. So I took up masters for fun. So I went to and during the first day of the orientation for my masters, the head of faculty, which is the professor, came and told me, said that they told all the students, you can take between 1 to 4 subjects per semester. So I was thinking in my head, I have 6 subjects to complete. If I can take 4 subjects per semester, I can finish it in a year. So I went to her and said, alright, I want to take up 4 subjects per semester. And she said, well, I did say that you can take up to 4 subjects per semester, but for you, cannot. I said, why not? She said, nobody has a full-time job, take up 4 subjects per semester, and has ever passed before in my faculty. Now that gives me 2 conclusions. Either 1, her faculty is really dumb, or number 2, I am really dumb. So I intended to prove that hypothesis. I went and took 4 subjects per semester. By the end of the whole thing, I was on track to become the best student in the history of her entire faculty, with a CPGA of 3.93. And she came to me and said, Vince, I knew you had the potential. I'm like, did something happen to your head? This kind of reminds me of the story as well. That there was these 5 monkeys that was placed in the room, and then in the middle of the room there was this pole and hang up a bunch of bananas at the top. So all these monkeys in its common behavior would go out and try to reach for the bananas. But every time when each of the monkeys tried to reach for the bananas, the scientists would pour water down and try to stop the monkey from getting hold of the bananas. So none of the monkeys ever got the bananas, but here's where it gets interesting. Then they start to replace each of these monkeys with a new second generation monkey. And this new second generation monkey going in there, don't know what's going on, go and try to reach for the bananas, and it's being pulled down by the other first generation monkey. Because why? They don't want this new friend to get hurt. So every time when they replace this one first generation monkey with a new second generation monkey, the same thing happens, they get pulled down by the other monkeys as well. Now the most interesting part is this. They start to replace each of the second generation monkey with a new third generation monkey. So this third generation monkey going in there, don't know what's going on, try to reach for the bananas, and what happened was that the other four second generation monkey pulled this third generation monkey down because they were pulled down by previous monkey before that. So ultimately, none of the monkeys ever got hold of the bananas. So what's the moral of the story here? In fact, before that, how many of you have such monkeys in your life? Raise your hand. The rest of you just go to the zoo, alright? Now here's the thing. In fact, I'm pretty sure some point in your life, you will have an aspiration, you have a dream, or you will even have some kind of business that you want to start. And you will tell your friends and your loved one that you want to do that. And chances are, they will tell you that it's risky, you will fail, you will not succeed. Alright? But if you actually ask them, right, have you run that business that I intend to run? Chances are your friend will tell you that, no, but I heard it from my dad. And if you ask the dad will say he heard it from grandfather. And by the end of the whole trail, right, none of them have ever run the business that you wanted to run, but yet they can tell you that it is risky. Alright? So the thing is this. Eventually, of course, after my lecturing life, I went on to continue to do what I love, which is all this online stuff. And I realized that I could spam the search engine really well. Because back then, all the search engine is not very clever. So you put up any site, you'll get ranked on the search engine right at the top there. So I was spamming the search engine like crazy. I created 5 billion pages of rubbish. I had 25,000 domain names, and I was making really good money back then. And in fact, I'm quite proud to say that I'm probably one of the very few Asians that has crashed the search engine as well for a couple of minutes. Because after they came out, they came out with the notice and said that there was a disruption in the service, all my sites was banned after that. So, am I proud of it? No, I should have tripled my effort, alright? But what happened was this, I went from the dark side to the bright side. So from spamming the search engine, I became a more legitimate marketer, started to sell things online, e-commerce and stuff like that. And I did pretty well to the point that the event organizers for Robert Kiyosaki and Tony Robbins, they found me and then they got me to speak around the world to teach about online marketing. I was doing that for 2.5 years. Every week in different countries, I realized I enjoyed teaching a lot. And then eventually, again, my parents with their very Asian syndrome kicked in and said, boy, it's time for you to settle down, have a kid, and get married. Get married and have a kid. And I did. And I got more than what I bargained for. My wife delivered triplets. Yeah, I know. You feel sorry for me, right? So what happened was this. My life changed forever, and I told my parents that you didn't warn me about this. And then they said, I asked you to have a kid, not kids. Right? And then because of that, I decided to settle down in Malaysia and decided to start a digital agency, which is Media Studio. So where we create websites and Facebook and stuff like that. So I started that because I wanted to help businesses to grow digitally in Malaysia, and I wanted to use my passion to help them. But what started as a passion became a little bit too serious because we grow very quickly from 0 to 550 clients in just 4 years. So we became the fastest digital agency, growing agency in Malaysia. And at the same time, I started EduPow as well, which is an online learning platform. Because I couldn't travel that much anymore, and I wanted people to learn what they love and pursue their dreams. So therefore, I thought by setting up an online learning platform, I could help everyone out there to do that. So the thing is this, as I do all this, right, I never realized that I was I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur, or I'm going through entrepreneurship. But as I grew, I realized that I wasn't just not doing about, I wasn't just about entrepreneurship, but I was in a business of impacting lives. For example, Shop Media Studio is so good with creating websites that any website that we help any client to design, we will double their business. What that means is that our client will need to hire more people with their business. And what that means to Shop Media Studio, our team, we are so excited about what we do is because every single pixel that we draw for our clients, we are helping to create job opportunities. And that's how we think. Alright? For EduPow as well, every single courses that's sold online, the same course will be donated to public school and library. So the thing is this, Giving and making an impact doesn't start when you have the money. It starts from the day that you were born. And if you think about it, right, we always take for granted. We didn't realize that every single action that we do, every single step that we take for every second in our life can make the difference to someone else around us. If you don't believe me, try this. Walk into the lift with full of people. As the door about to close, you try to fart in the lift. Right? So my point is this. Along the way as well, opportunities arise when there's market failures. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers at the end of the day. Now what drives them forward is their why. There can be big whys, there can be small whys, and that defines the kind of problems that they try to solve. If you look at Ford Motors, how they brought the assembly line to be so effective and brought cars to the world, or even General Electric, Thomas Edison has brought electricity and bulbs to the world. Now your why is extremely important because it defines your purpose. Alright? And think about this for a second as well. Your why, if it's all about just you and your family, which is what I get every time I interview people, when I ask them, what is your why? What is your dream? They will tell me that, oh, I wish to make a little bit more money so that I can bring my family for a party or for a holiday. I can buy a better home for my kids. These are all good and noble. But if your why is only about you and your loved one, then I'm going to tell you right now that the universe is going to give you just enough for you and your family because that is what you focus on. But if you from today start focusing and expanding your why to try to help millions of people out there in the world, I can assure you, you will get more than what you need because you need the extras to help the rest of the people out there. Alright? And I will tell you this as well, very brutally. If your why is just about you and your family, then I'm telling you right now that you are doing a very big disservice to yourself and to humanity and to this planet Earth. Why? Because you came to this Earth, you shit on it, and then you leave. You better off not exist, right? So the thing is, entrepreneurs along the way, as they solve problems, they also make tons of money as well. Now, is that right or wrong? I can tell you there's absolutely nothing wrong with making money while solving problems. In fact, if entrepreneurs solve problems and don't make money from it, they are actually very guilty of this sin because they are not making their problem-solving effort sustainable. Money is not the root of all evil. No money is the root of all evil. Alright? So the thing is this, if you think as well, like how Elon Musk has changed the way space of exploration work over the last 15 years, he has actually thinking about building a rocket, and then now he's actually able to make a reusable rocket as well. And then from there, he has made space traveling cheaper. He even talked about Mars exploration as well. So not only entrepreneurs solve problems, they also push humanity forward and make a lot of money while at it as well. And here's the fact I'm going to share with you. 89% of entrepreneurs and company leaders around the world actually channel their fund, their extra money, to charity and selfless act. 89%. Now think about it for a second. There's this Gates Foundation. If you recognize the name Bill Gates, the owner and founder of Microsoft, Gates Foundation was started by Bill and Melinda Gates because they wanted to save a lot of children's lives out there. Because every day, tens and thousands of children below 5 years old die in this world. So they wanted to save that, and they want to do that. So ever since they established the foundation, the Gates Foundation, 120 million children's lives was saved. So think about it for a second. This cycle of entrepreneurs solving problems, making money, and channeling the money to charity and foundations to impact even more lives out there. How one entrepreneur can make such a difference to millions of lives out there. Now, if you think about that and imagine if all the entrepreneurs around the world and even more entrepreneurs that's going to come around on this earth come together, guess what kind of impact it could do to the world? Alright? So, my point is this. Advocating entrepreneurship is advocating sustainable future. And I would like to call upon all of you and encourage you to advocate, to encourage, and if it's meant to be for you, be an entrepreneur in your heart, in your actions, and in your soul. Because there's no issue that's too small, there's no dreams that is too big. In fact, all of us here today, in fact, everyone on this earth, we are born with the single best gift ever from the day that we were born. Alright? And this gift is also the biggest motivator in our life, which is all of us is going to die. And therefore, every second that we spend needs to be very impactful. We got to think about how we're going to spend every second of our life to make the most impact possible to this earth. Alright? The only way to predict a future is to create one. And I would like to leave you with the last piece of quote here. And I hope you take this down, and I hope you share with your friends and on social media. Do not ever downgrade your dreams to match your reality. Upgrade your faith to match your destiny. Thank you very much, everybody.